You think you're safe behind your screen? That's what we all tell ourselves, right? The glow of a phone, the hum of a laptop, the comfort of knowing you can always just hit end call or close a tab. But what if the real horror isn't out there in the dark, but right here, just a call or a click away? I used to laugh at those stories, the ones about creepy phone calls or weird things happening online. I thought, that could never happen to me. But after what I've experienced, and what I'm about to share with you, I don't laugh anymore. Tonight, I'm going to tell you 3 true stories that will make you question every ring, every notification, every anonymous message. After these stories, you'll never answer a late-night call or click a strange link the same way again. If you think you're safe, you might want to think again. It started during my sophomore year of college, right after midterms. I was living in a cramped off-campus apartment with my best friend Jamie. We were both night owls, so it wasn't unusual for us to be up late, scrolling through TikTok or cramming for exams. But that week, Jamie was visiting her family, and I had the place to myself. I remember thinking how quiet everything felt, how the silence seemed to press in on me once the sun went down. The first call came at 1:13 a.m. I was half asleep, my phone buzzing on the nightstand. I squinted at the screen, unknown number. Normally I'd let it go to voicemail, but something about the hour, the way the phone seemed to vibrate louder than usual, made me answer. I pressed the phone to my ear. Hello? At first there was nothing. It's just static, like the sound of an old TV with no signal. I was about to hang up when I heard it, a voice low and distorted, almost mechanical. Can you hear me? I froze. The voice was so warped I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman, young or old. I tried to laugh it off, thinking it was some prank or a wrong number. Who is this? I asked, trying to sound annoyed. The line went dead. I shrugged it off, blaming a spam call or a glitch. But the next night, it happened again. Same time, same unknown number. This time I let it ring. But after the third call, curiosity got the better of me. I answered, my heart thumping. Hello? Pause. Then the same distorted voice, a little clearer this time. I see you. I sat up in bed, every hair on my body standing on end. What do you want? I tried to sound brave, but my voice shook. No answer. Just breathing, slow, deliberate, almost like they wanted me to hear every inhale and exhale. Then a click, and the call ended. I didn't sleep much that night. Every shadow in my room seemed to move. Every creak of the old pipes sounded like footsteps. I kept telling myself it was just a prank, maybe someone spoofing numbers, but deep down I felt watched. The calls kept coming. Always after midnight. Always from unknown number. The messages got weirder. Sometimes it was just static, sometimes a single word. Soon. Outside. Listen. I started keeping my phone on silent, but the calls would go straight to voicemail, filling my inbox with those warped, cryptic messages. One night, I got home late from the library. As I unlocked my door, my phone buzzed. I almost didn't answer, but something in me snapped. I was tired of being scared. What do you want? I demanded. The voice was clearer than ever, almost familiar. You left your window open. I spun around. My bedroom window was on the second floor, but I ran to check anyway. It was closed, just like I'd left it. I tried to convince myself it was a lucky guess, but my hands were shaking. The next night, the calls got personal. The voice recited my class schedule, my favorite coffee order, even the name of the street where my parents lived. I felt sick. Someone was watching me, someone close enough to know details I'd never shared online. I called the police, but they couldn't trace the number. They told me to block it, to change my number, to be careful. I did all of that, but the calls kept coming. Different numbers, always the same voice. Finally, I decided to confront whoever it was. The next time the phone rang, I answered with the angriest voice I could muster. I know you're watching me. Leave me alone or I'm calling the cops again." There was a long silence. Then, the voice whispered, "Check under your bed." My blood ran cold. I didn't want to look, but I forced myself to kneel down and peer into the darkness. Nothing, just dust and a few old shoes. I laughed nervously, feeling stupid. But the next morning, as I was making my bed, I noticed something odd behind my nightstand. A small, cheap burner phone, wedged between the wall and the floor. It was still on the screen, glowing faintly. When I picked it up, it was connected to a call. My own number was on the screen. I dropped it like it was burning me. The calls stopped after that, but I never figured out who was behind them or how that phone ended up in my room. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear phantom rings, and I wonder if the real horror isn't what's out there, but what's already inside. It's one thing to feel exposed through a phone call, to sense someone's eyes on you, even when you're alone in your room. But what really gets under your skin is realizing how much more vulnerable we are online, where anyone can hide behind a screen, and the line between harmless fun and real danger blurs fast. If you thought phone calls were bad, wait until you see what can happen online. Back in high school, I was obsessed with the internet. Not just social media, but the weird corners, forums, chat rooms, places where you could be anyone and talk to anyone. It felt like freedom, like I could escape the boring routine of school and parents and just exist as whoever I wanted. My friends and I would dare each other to join random chat rooms, see who could get the weirdest conversation, or make up the wildest fake persona. It was all just a game until it wasn't. One night I was alone in my room, the blue glow of my laptop the only light. I joined a chat room called Night Owls, the kind of place where people talked about everything and nothing. Most of the users had dumb screen names and even dumber jokes. But one stood out: Watcher. Their messages were always short, almost poetic, and they never responded to anyone but me. At first, it was flattering. Watcher would ask about my day, my favorite music, what I wanted to do after graduation. They seemed to get me in a way my real-life friends didn't. I told myself it was just a bored college kid or some lonely adult, but I started looking forward to our chats. I never gave away anything personal, at least. I thought I didn't. Then things got weird. Watcher started dropping hints about my life. They'd mention the color of my bedroom walls, the name of my dog, even the brand of cereal I ate for breakfast. I laughed it off, thinking maybe I'd posted a picture somewhere, or maybe it was just a lucky guess. The details got more specific. One night, Watcher messaged, "You look tired in that blue hoodie." I was wearing it right then, alone in my room, webcam off. My stomach dropped. I typed, "Are you spying on me?" The reply came instantly, "Wouldn't you like to know?" I slammed my laptop shut and tried to forget about it, but the next day at school, I got a text from an unknown number. "Nice backpack. Red suits you." I hadn't told anyone about the chat room, and I hadn't posted a picture of my new backpack anywhere. I started to feel like I was being watched everywhere I went. The messages escalated. Watcher sent me screenshots of my own social media profiles, even old posts I'd forgotten about. Then they started posting my personal info in the chat room, my full name, my school, even my address. Other users started messaging me, some with threats, some just to gawk. I felt exposed, like I was standing naked in the middle of a crowd. I told my parents, who called the school and the police. They said it was probably just a troll, someone trying to scare me. But then, one night I heard tapping on my window. I peeked through the blinds and saw a figure standing in the shadows, phone screen glowing. I froze, too scared to scream. The figure just stood there, watching, before disappearing into the night. After that, I deleted all my social media, changed my number, even switched bedrooms with my little brother so I wouldn't be near the street. But the emails kept coming, cryptic, taunting, always from different addresses. "You can't hide," one said. "See," said another. The police never found out who it was. They said it was probably someone from school, maybe even a friend playing a sick joke, but I never felt safe again. Even now, years later, I still get the occasional email from a random address. No message, just a photo attachment, usually a blurry shot of my house, or my car, or me walking to class. I don't open them anymore. I just delete and block, hoping one day it'll stop. But deep down, I know it won't. Because online, you're never really anonymous. And sometimes, the people watching you are closer than you think. There is something uniquely terrifying about not knowing who is on the other side of the screen. How easy it is for someone to slip into your life, unseen, and turn your world upside down. But as scary as anonymous messages and digital shadows can be, nothing compares to what happened when a family's own home. Every lock, every light, every device was turned against them. My parents always loved new gadgets, or if there was a way to make our lives easier, or at least more impressive to the neighbors, they were all in. So when my dad got a bonus at work, he decided to upgrade our entire house into a smart home. We got the works: smart locks, security cameras, voice assistants in every room, even a fridge that texted you when you were low on milk. At first it was kind of cool. I could turn off my bedroom lights with my phone, or ask the kitchen speaker to play music while I did homework. My little brother, Max, would spend hours asking the voice assistant to tell him jokes or play animal sounds. It felt like living in the future. But the future, it turns out, can get really weird really fast. It started small. The lights in the hallway would flicker at odd times, even when no one was near the switch. My mom blamed it on faulty wiring, but the electrician said everything was fine. Then the thermostat started changing on its own. We'd wake up sweating in the middle of the night, the heat cranked to 80, or shivering because the AC was blasting. My dad reset the system, but the glitches kept happening. One night, I was home alone, scrolling through my phone in the living room, when the TV suddenly turned on by itself. The screen was just static, but the volume was cranked up so loud I nearly dropped my phone. I grabbed the remote and turned it off, but a few minutes later, it happened again. This time, the voice assistant in the corner chimed in, its usually cheerful tone warped and robotic. "Hello, Olivia," it said. "Are you alone?" I stared at the speaker, my heart pounding. I hadn't told it my name. I hadn't even spoken. I tried to laugh it off, telling myself it was just a glitch. But I unplugged the speaker anyway and went to bed with my door locked. The next day, my mom called me at school, her voice shaky. She said the front door had unlocked itself 3 times that morning, even after she'd locked it from her phone. The security cameras kept sending her notifications, but when she checked the footage, all she saw was static. My dad called the company that installed everything, but they said there was no sign of a hack, just user error. We all started to feel like we were losing our minds. Then things got worse. One night, we were all sitting down to dinner when every light in the house went out at once. The voice assistant speaker crackled to life, and a distorted voice echoed through every room. "Welcome home," it said. "Let's play a game." Max started crying. My dad tried to use his phone to turn the lights back on, but the app just showed an error message. The doors locked themselves with a loud mechanical click. We were trapped. The voice kept talking, taunting us. "I see you in the dining room. Livia, you look scared. Max, don't cry." "It's just a game." My mom grabbed her phone to call 911, but there was no signal. The landline was dead too. We tried the windows, but the smart locks wouldn't budge. The security system, the one that was supposed to keep us safe, had turned our house into a prison. We huddled together in the living room, listening as the voice described everything we did. "Dad, why are you sweating?" "Mom, don't bother with the back door." "Olivia, you should have unplugged me sooner." I felt like I was suffocating. Every device in the house was against us. The fridge beeped nonstop. The oven turned itself on. The TV flashed images of our own faces from the security cameras, footage we'd never seen before. It was like the house itself was alive and it hated us. Hours passed. The voice would go silent, then suddenly blare out a new threat or a mocking laugh. At one point, the lights flickered back on and the front door unlocked. We didn't wait. We grabbed Max and ran outside, not even bothering to grab our shoes or jackets. Sprinted to the neighbor's house and called the police. When they arrived, everything was back to normal. The lights worked, the doors locked and unlocked like they were supposed to, and the security footage was wiped clean. The company insisted their system was secure, that there was no sign of a breach. But we knew better. We moved out a month later. My parents went back to old-fashioned locks and unplugged every smart device. But sometimes, late at night, I still get notifications on my phone from our old system. Motion detected in the living room. Door unlocked, voice assistant listening. I delete them, but they always come back. We never found out who or what was behind it. Maybe it was a hacker, maybe something worse. All I know is the house is still there, lights flickering in the dark, waiting for the next family to move in. And somewhere, someone is still watching, still listening, just waiting for another game to begin. It's easy to forget, in a world where we're always connected, just how vulnerable that connection can make us. We trust our phones, our computers, even our homes, to keep us safe and comfortable. But sometimes the very things meant to protect us become the source of our deepest fears. Whether it's a stranger's voice on the other end of the line, a faceless stalker hiding behind a screen, or a smart home that suddenly feels anything but safe, these stories are a reminder that the line between convenience and danger is thinner than we think. So, what about you? Have you ever gotten a call that made your skin crawl, or a message that felt just a little too personal? Maybe you've had a device act up in a way you couldn't explain. If you have your own creepy phone or internet story, share it in the comments. I want to hear what keeps you up at night. Remember, next time your phone rings in the dark, your device glitches for no reason, don't be so quick to brush it off, because sometimes the real horror isn't what's out there, it's what's already found a way in. Someone might be watching,